Well, that sure was a busy week. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phillies Sensitive Videocast, and today we're going to be having our 9th weekly update of the offseason, as we're going to be talking about some Phillies news and surrounding baseball news. Now, guys, before getting into this video, please subscribe if you haven't not yet. Please turn the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. Now, we're going into our final video of 2020. It is hard to believe. 153 videos this year. I'd like to thank everyone for all the support. It's hard to believe this is the final video of the year 2020. I'm looking forward to 2021. We're going to be having a New Year's Day Q&A on New Year's, of course. I'm going to be debuting in my new jersey I got for Christmas. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not going to give away what that is. Of course, as I said, it's a jersey that's no longer made. You have to go out and buy a used one or one that's been restored with the tag still on it. So I'm going to be giving more details once I make that video. I'm looking forward to the first video of 2021. Then we have a lot of news to cover. It was the week of Christmas. Of course, I hope everyone had a great Christmas. And, if you celebrate Hanukkah, any holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, I hope everyone had a great holiday. But despite it being the week of, Christmas, this did not stop the rest of Major League Baseball and the Phillies from having a very, very busy week. A lot of reports came out this week discussing the Phillies' financial, situation. Let's just dive right into it. About a week ago, a report came out that the Phillies are unwilling to spend, quote, significant money if it's not on JT Realmuto. So we're just going to forget about the rest of our, holes we need to fill, especially in our bullpen, and I think we need another starter. So we're just going to sign JT Realmuto, and that's it. I got a DM from somebody the other day, and they said, Luke, I really like what you said about bringing back JT Realmuto. They said, how do you think we're going to get JT Realmuto back and still be a competitive baseball team? I talked about it with Matt on yesterday about how I think he's going to fall into the Phillies' lap. Are the Phillies going to go out and spend significant money to get JT Realmuto? No, I do not think they will. But the reason why I think we get him back is because he falls back on our lap. The organization has fan pressure on them to go out and re-sign JT Realmuto. That's why I think he's going to be coming back. I think we will get him at a cheaper price than he wants. Of course, the Mets were not even willing to even pay him. So what does that tell you? The richest owner in sports, Steve Cohen, right? So the fact that the Mets weren't even willing to do it really shows something that JT Realmuto's asking price is, through the roof. I mean, it's sky high. So the fact that the Mets were not willing to do it does give me, it gives me hope, and it also doesn't, though, because his market is really, really weak. But so let's get this straight. If we just go out and re-sign JT Realmuto and do nothing else, we're going to be having the same problems and more next year. I mean, we've gotten worse as a team. We've lost Didi Gregorius. So, just re-signing JT Realmuto does not solve our problems. And as Dave Dombrowski said, we are not just one player away. We have to retool. We're not going to rebuild. We're going to retool. We're not just one player away. He said everybody in this organization believes that we are not just one player away from winning a championship. I think, our window is probably going to be 2022, 2023. 2021, not going to be our year. Obviously, am I looking forward to 2021? Of course. Of course I'm looking forward to 2021. Of course I'm looking forward to 2021. Now, do I think it's going to be our year? No. No, I do not. No, I do not. Once again, I do have patience with this organization, but we're not really doing much. We're not really doing much. We're just talking. We're talking. We're talking. We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. This needs to change. And once again, I have a certain level of patience when you bring in a new guy to man your front office. And as Alex Carr said, he said, the hiring of Sam Fowler hopefully is the last domino that needs to fall for the Phillies to start making a move. That was a perfect way to put it. And hopefully, I'm going to get into that now. But the Phillies, what, are we just going to sign JT Realmuto and just forget about the rest of our biggest problems? Which is our biggest problem, which is the bullpen. That is our biggest problem. So we're just going to just forget about the bullpen and just bring back JT Realmuto, of course, who I love. He's my second favorite player. This guy's awesome. He's great for this team. He's all around just an elite. He's so athletic. He could run, hit, throw guys out. This guy's he's one of the best catchers I've ever seen. This guy is one of the most athletic catchers I think I've ever seen. He's just a complete package. He could run, hit, field. He's just unbelievable. He's just unbelievable. I love JT Realmuto. He's a huge asset for any organization. He's just unbelievable. I would love to get him back, but it wouldn't do much if we do not get a bullpen. It would not do anything. Because the bullpen is our biggest weakness, and that is the biggest thing for keeping us from winning games. So we need to go out and get a bullpen. So another thing I'm going to be talking about is Sam Fowler. Sam Fowler has been hired as the next general manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. They announced it Great hire. Big news that came out of the Phillies this week. Awesome hire. He's been in our front office since 2017. Of course, he's familiar with so many of our players. Has a great relationship with Phillies first baseman Rhys Hoskins. Of course, he did work with our outfielders for a little while. So, this guy is experienced, of course. He's only 39 years old. That's the thing. He'll connect with the younger players. If we just hired this guy as our GM and we still had Andy McPhail as our president and we didn't go out to Dave Dombrowski, I'd be like, I don't really know how I feel about this. But this is great because Dombrowski is going to be running the show. You know that Dombrowski is going to be running the show. So that's what gives me a lot of hope. And you're bringing in Sam Fuld, a guy who's pretty young. He's going to connect with the younger players. And Dave Dombrowski was getting interviewed. He said, let's face it. He said, he was kind of jokingly saying, he's like, I don't want to say this, but Sam Fuld, he's a lot younger than me. So we're kind of different people. We're kind of different phases of our careers. He said, I'm a little bit older. Sam Fuld is younger. He's 39 years old. He's going to connect with with the players more because he's closer in age. I like that in some ways. I'm okay with it if we have a guy like Dave Dombrowski who's older and has more experience. And he's enjoyed longevity. He's a proven winner. So I'm perfectly fine with bringing in a guy like Sam. Now, if we did not go and hire Dave Dombrowski and we just hired Sam Fuld as our general manager and still had Andy McPhail as the president, I'd be a little bit skeptical about this. You're bringing in a guy who's 39 years of age, that's still a very young age, and you do not, Andy McPhail was so weak. What did he do? He has done nothing in his career. Nothing. All those years of Baltimore Orioles, he did absolutely nothing. He is so weak and ineffective. And look what he did in Philly. He did absolutely nothing. He was a disaster. He was just weak and ineffective, and it was time to get him out. So the fact that now he's out and Dave Dombrowski's in gives me a lot of hope. And once again, I'm still happy about this hire. I still think he's going to do a better job than Matt Klentak. But you have to keep in mind here that Dave Dombrowski is going to be running the show here, not Sam Fuld. Will Sam Fuld have a say? Of course. Matt Klentak, former Phillies GM, is going to be acting kind of like the advisor to Dave Dombrowski and the rest of the Phillies front office. And another report that came back this week, I'm going to be going back to the JT Realmuto talk. John Heyman. Of course, we all know John Heyman, the psycho on Twitter with this weird profile picture of him running in like this weird virtual graphic world or something. Like, this is the weirdest picture I've ever seen. A lot of people make memes about it. Pretty funny. He reported that the Phillies have an offer on the table for free agent catcher JT Realmuto. Now the question is, how much is it? Is it a lowball offer? Probably. The fact that he hasn't accepted it yet, of course, shows that he's not willing to meet it. If he liked this deal, he'd be taking it. There's no question about it. I do think we will get JT Realmuto, but as I keep saying, it's going to drag out. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So if any of you people think it's going to be soon, you are wrong. It's going to be way closer to spring training. He's going to drag it out into the last possible second. This is what I think is going to happen. The market is weak for him. No team is willing to pay him, especially during this financial crisis that sports teams in general are going through. No team is willing to pay this price. He's going to let it drag out into the very, very end. A lot of people are going to do this, like Trevor Bauer probably. Maybe not, though, because he's a pitcher. It's very, very important for players who are report to spring training on time, especially pitchers. But it's, especially important for pitchers to report to spring training on time. But, I think he's going to drag it out because the market is weak for him. The market is so weak. He's just going to wait it out. He's not going to get the money he wants. And he's just going to fall right back into the Phillies' lap. The Phillies have a lot of pressure. They traded away number one prospect for him. They traded away a great young catcher, Jorge Alfaro, Will Stewart. He was a great young pitching prospect. A lot of fan pressure. And no other team's willing to pay it. You just saw the Nationals. Mike Rizzo just went out and traded for Josh Bell, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Blue Jays, when have they been connected to a huge position player, free agent? Same with the Nats. I understand Mike Rizzo likes to go out, and sign big free agents, mostly pitchers like Corbin. He signed Strasburg. He signed, Scherzer. So, he's not really been known. He let Bryce Harper walk. He let Anthony Rendon walk. He was not willing to pay Bryce Harper and Anthony Rendon. But it's interesting to see what happens with Juan Soto. And the Angels, I think Trevor Bauer is their guy. So I do think JT Realmuto will end back up with the Philadelphia Phillies. But the question is, as I said, when will it happen? My prediction, late February or around March. It's not going to be for a while here. It's going to drag out. It's not going to be anytime soon. So if any of you think that it's going to be soon, you were wrong. I'd be very, very surprised. There's a possibility that it could. Yeah. I'd be shocked. I think the most likely thing that's going to happen, he's going to just drag it out until the very end. But once again, I do have a certain level of patience with this organization. We just brought in Dave Dombrowski. It's like the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's. It's been distracting. It's been a distracting time. Of course, the winter meetings, we still haven't done anything. And then you get this report coming out. We have our biggest weakness. And of course, this is a report. This isn't a fact. This didn't come out of Dave Dombrowski's mouth. But they're only willing to spend money on JT Muto. So you're not willing to spend money on the Phillies' biggest need, which is bullpen. Bullpen! So you're willing to just, re-sign JT Muto. Great, I love JT Muto. But is that just a free ticket to a World Series championship? No, it is not. It is not. We need a bullpen. We need a bullpen. With no bullpen, we don't win. If we don't have a bullpen, we don't win. Pitching wins games. Pitching wins games. Look at the 2019 Washington Nationals. Look at that starting rotation. Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Patrick Corbin, Anibal Sanchez, who was very, very good. That's what win. And of course, their bullpen was horrible at the beginning of the year. It settled down. You got guys like Tanner Rainey in there. It's just like, look at that team. Look at that team. Pitching wins games. And guys like Mike Rizzo, GM and president of the Washington Nationals, understand that pitching wins you games. Now, do you need a good offense? Of course, but pitching is the priority. That's why Mike Rizzo chose Steven Strasburg over Anthony Rendon, because he knows that pitching wins championships, and he should know firsthand because he won a championship because he has good pitching. So that's what the Phillies need to do. So they're just ignoring their biggest weakness. So it's basically saying like, okay, we know our biggest, so we're gonna avoid spending money for our biggest weakness, and we're gonna go out and sign JT Muto. As I said, I love JT Muto. He's my second favorite player on this team when he's on this team. Of course, he's not officially on the Phillies right now, but right before he elected free agency, he was my second favorite player on the Phillies. I love this guy. I love to keep him, but we need to address our biggest weakness, which is pitching, and it's something that the Phillies have still not shown me. They've still not shown me that. And I was asked yesterday by Matt, he said, do you think that, JT Muto would take a discount to go back to the Phillies if the Phillies went out and had a good bullpen? Well, how can JT Muto trust the Phillies if they're going to go out and get a good bullpen if they haven't done anything and they've shown no indication that they're going to go out and get a good bullpen? They've shown no indication at all. None. I heard that, they've been talking to Blake Trident. They were outbid for Jose Urena. He ended up going to the Tigers, of course. I was disappointed to hear that. Marlins former pitcher Jose Urena, he ends up going to the Tigers. The Phillies were outbid. And as I said, he's not some great pitcher, but he put up decent numbers when he was with Miami. He's kind of a hothead. He could throw at pretty good velocity. But some other news around, Major League Baseball this past week. Some big news. The Washington Nationals and Pittsburgh Pirates made a big trade on Christmas Eve. Mike Rizzo, GM and president of the Washington Nationals, acquired first baseman Josh Bell from the Pirates for Will Crowe and Eddie Veen. So they're going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Josh Bell goes to Washington Nationals. Mike Rizzo and the Nationals have finally figured out their first baseman problem that they've been dealing with. Of course, they had Eric Thames this past year. That just didn't work out. He had a platoon the past couple years with Matt Adams and, Ryan Zimmerman, and I believe they had Adam Lind, and I think it was in 2017. They had, as I said, Matt Adams and, all those other guys that brought in Eric Thames. He didn't work out. And now you're going to go out and trade for Josh Bell, who had an amazing 2019 season. And I think he's going to be the first baseman in the future there. And they need a nice lefty bat, of course, go in their lineup. And of course, they already got Juan Soto in there. He's a good lefty to have in your lineup. But a lefty in that infield now is very, very dangerous. Do they bring back Ryan Zimmerman as a backup? Possibly. So Mike Rizzo, these teams are not wasting time. The Braves went out and signed Charlie Morton to help solve their rotation problems. They have a really good rotation. The Mets went out and filled their vacancy behind home plate and went out and signed James McCann. The Nationals, Mike Rizzo, he's been pretty busy. He went out and traded for Josh Bell. The Nationals, their window is getting pretty close. One of the older teams in baseball, you heard it, they're open and trading, third baseman Carter Kieboom, so it's going to be interesting. So, and while the Phillies are sitting back and not doing anything, but hopefully that will change, and I have patience. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media link in the description section at Phillies House of Instagram or Hard Fanatics Instagram. Card text 267-225-3392. Email me, phillieshouseof@gmail.com. Final video of 2020. I am going to be coming on Baseball Guys Sean's show, I believe, the following week. I'm going to be making a collab with MLB Chatterbox. Thank you guys for such a great 2020. I will see you in 2021. I'll see you again.